This is the ITV Lunchtime News with Nina Hussain.
Good afternoon. In the early hours of this morning, the radical preacher Anjem Choudary was released from prison. Jailed for urging Muslims to join the group that calls itself Islamic State, the government says he will be monitored around the clock with electronic tagging and nighttime curfew, and he is banned from contacting people guilty of extremist offences. Those against his release say the public is now at risk from a highly dangerous man. Richard Pallow has the details.
Only last month, the prisons minister described him as genuinely dangerous. Yet before dawn, Anjem Choudary was released from his maximum security prison.
The Muslims on their way!
Over many years, the radical preacher inspired a long list of homegrown extremists. Security services will now be watching his every move. David Toube was at university with him and thought he was easygoing. Now working for a counter-terrorism organisation, he says Choudary remains dangerous and jail won't have changed that.
I think it's very unlikely. I would love to see the Anjem Choudary I knew as a teenager again, but I think he's not coming back. This is a man who spent 30 years at the heart of extremist politics, and without being Anjem Choudary, the hate preacher, he's nothing.
Choudary must comply with well over 20 licence conditions, which include staying within the boundaries of the M25, no unsupervised internet use and just one pre-approved phone, and a ban on preaching and contacting anyone previously convicted or charged of extremist-related offences. Should he breach any of these, Choudary will likely be returned to prison immediately. Yesterday, the Prime Minister insisted authorities are equipped to cope with him back on the streets.
But if and when any terrorist offender is released, well-rehearsed plans are put in place to keep the public safe. And the police, the prison, the probation service and other agencies have a range of powers available to them. They also have significant experience in dealing with such offenders.
In the last few minutes, Choudary has appeared on the steps of the bail hostel that is expected to be his home for the next few months. Smiling, smirking. A man imprisoned for inviting support for Islamic State and who used the media to spread his doctrine, clearly in no mood to hide away. Richard Pallow, ITV News.
I'm joined now by our security editor, Rohit Khatri. As we've just seen, he's out and about. What happens to him now?
Well, these 25 restrictions kick in, and one of them relates to where he's going to be staying inside that probation hostel. You know, part of the conditions of his release this morning, that 4 a.m. release with a police escort, was not only to protect other people, but frankly to protect him, because we can assume that people will, he will be the source of targets of hatred. And now that his whereabouts is well known, it is quite possible that he may now have to be released from that probation hostel in London where he is now staying. But there are many other restrictions on his internet use, on who he can be in contact with. He had reached that automatic release point of his sentence, and so that is why he is out today. That's why he's out this week. But he is, of course, not really a free man because of those many conditions. And perhaps more concerning for the authorities now is what his followers do. I know that there are small groups who have been communicating, people who have been following him, who have been looking to this moment, to this day, to see if there is any direction from Anjem Choudary about what they should do next. And these conditions are designed to prevent any sort of direction like that.
We shall see. Rohit Khatri, thank you very much. Thank you.